Hello and welcome back to the Swag Shack tutorial video. This video is going to include instructions on how to do a one-sided lift hill escape stair platform. So let's look at a few examples of what I am talking about. So there's many different ways that folks have traditionally built stairways or platforms up for coasters, which has typically been like, hey, put some roller coaster wooden track underneath the lift, and that's good enough. And I think that works when you're using wood supports potentially a little bit better. But in a lot of coaster tracks, they've got only one side with supports. They do not have both sides. So, for example, you'll see in a Pandemonium remake, right here, we've only got stairs on one side of the track. You can see there's stairs on one side, but on the other side it's open. And then I'll put some images in the video to show you what this looks like in real life. So you can see that only one side of the track has stairs on them. And this is a remake of that coaster, but we've also got another few examples in here. So this was the, I think, Shockwave? Yeah, Shockwave. So right here, you can see one side of the coaster has the supports and the other side does not. And then there's circumstances where having the wood underneath kind of doesn't feel right. It's a little too weighty. But you can see on this giant lift hill, we've got the supports on both sides, the stairs on both sides. And what this is it is track. That's diagonal track on the walkway. So you're basically just using a visual glitch to do the side supports just in one area, and I'll teach you how to do that in this video. This is like a Gerstlauer-esque bobsled coaster or something similar to that spinning coaster. Ignore the layout overall, just wanted to do a quick little lift hill. So this is what we've got. We've got a lift hill. The platform and the lift hill are separate from the station. So we're actually going to have a platform that's a little separated from the station overall. So this is just a remake of what we've got. We've got your standard supports coming down. We would like to build the railing on the inside between the station and the other piece of track. So that's what we're going to do. The first thing I want to do overall is get this railing. So these steel, what are these called? Steel fence posts? Yeah, steel fences. What I want to do is make sure these are lined up in the correct height. And the easiest way to do that is actually to put the floor underneath where the flat part of the coaster track starts. So right here, we're right below it. And if I put a second one right there, and then we're going to copy and use the block supports right underneath those. And we are going to use the steel fence to make the support. So here, let's zoom in. So right there, that's our start. And these are on the inside tile, so I'm going to put these right here, and we're going to see really quick by changing those to right side up if that's the correct height overall. And it looks like it's not. It looks like it needs to be lifted up just a little bit. So what we'll do is we will lift those up one more. And I don't think we can lift that up one more. So we might just have to have another one of these pieces going down into the rails right there. So that's going to make that seem the way we want it to look. We're going to copy and paste that, and we're just going to go all the way up. So once you get to the top, you are going to have a flat area, and supposedly, if this works out, we're going to be right below it. So that's what we've got going on right now. So you've got the railing, but if we were to look at this from a couple other areas, it's like, okay, what does that railing even encompass? Because the track has a gap, and there's an area underneath. So in order to fill that gap, we are going to use the copy and paste tool, and we are going to place that track piece visibly, and you'll see right here, this is the track piece. But when I turn my my map around, you don't see it from any other angle. So that's one of the things about these diagonal pieces. They do cover 4 different tiles, 1 from each perspective. So what I would like to do is copy this piece, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to try to line it up underneath the track without overlapping. So it's a little bit higher, so I'm going to use down on my tile inspector to make it lower. But you can see if I try to place it in line on the same exact track piece, it starts to go underground. So that's not where we want to place it. We're actually going to copy and paste it 1 tile diagonally below where you might expect it to go. And then boom, you can see that is going to be filling the gap between the fence and the coaster. So if we zoom in, it looks like we've got sort of a stairwell right there. So we're going to continue to do that all the way up, and you're going to be able to skip 2 tiles because it's a 2-tile visual piece. So copy paste, and what I'll do to make this a little easier to see is I'm actually going to mark where I'm placing them. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and we'll see how far it gets up to the top. So I'm going to continue right here. So right there, you can see at the very top, it starts to come away from the track. So sometimes your lift hills are just, it's not going to work whether we like it or not. So what you might do here is you go back to your original track and you curve by doing this. And we're going to play around and figure out where this curve actually works out. So right here, you actually see it's not going to work out perfectly, so we might want to shift it over 1 more tile. And that looks pretty good right there. So what happens when you have a gap? You're just going to overlap those pieces. And right here you can see, as I lift this up, it's going to fill that gap. So from this perspective, we basically have this stairwell that goes all the way up. So all the way down and up. But then, when we shift our perspective, we do not have any track pieces here. So what are we going to do from this perspective? We are going to do the opposite of what we just did. So we're going to take that and get a steep roller coaster piece. And in this circumstance, because it's behind the track, I think it's going to be okay for us to copy and paste underneath the track. So there you go. You can see right here, we've got that piece for the stairs. If we put it 1 lower, it's not visible. So we do want to keep it on that. So we're going to copy and paste and go between each of these tracks, or these supports, and we're going to continue all the way up. And we're going to reach that same situation where it goes flat up here. So we're going to want to make this curve again, potentially. We're going to see if this curve piece works. So we're going to move it a little bit further. And I think that looks pretty good. So you can see there's a little bit of muddle, but I mean, you're zooming in. You can barely see it from further away. So there's a little bit of a gap, but yet again, we're not going to be perfect. We're going to do our best visibly for what we've got. So now we have 2 different perspectives completed. And you know what I'm going to do is I'm going to delete this piece. We're going to lower this one like that. We're going to copy and paste that, and we're going to continue this piece down here. Ooh, can we do that? Because if we put it right there, it's too low in the ground. So the only way to really do that would be to get it in front. And in this circumstance, it does sort of cut off, but I think I can live with that. Okay, now we're going to move on to the next angle, which visibly, you don't really see the stairs because the track's kind of blocking it. But we would typically use something like this, which is just a flat piece. You're not using the steep piece because this angle and perspective works pretty solidly. So I'm not going to lift it up over the track. I'm going to put it right below the track. So you're going to see that line still. And there's sort of the idea that that platform is behind the track. Now that's not going to work. See how I'm on this tile and it's blocking? So if I want to get that visibly removed, we're going to do the same thing we've done in the past, which is we're going to copy and we're going to paste it behind the area. So in this circumstance, we're going between the red dots. which works perfectly. So we're going to copy, paste behind the red dots, or between the red, and we're just going to keep lifting it up. And I think that gives the fence just a little bit more ground. So right here, since we're going to try to line it up with this piece, we're going to do that. But since we want a little bit of platform here visibly, what we can do is we're going to try to make this go down. And we're going to see if that's good enough. This might not be good enough. We might have to do something a little steeper. So we're going to copy and paste that right below where we want it to be. And in this circumstance, I'm not a huge fan of it. I do believe it needs to have a little bit more incline. So in this circumstance, I'm going to click and I'm going to apply this change to all the track piece right here. So I have some more space to do this. I'm going to make this go lower. And I'm going to copy this slope to steep slope piece. Copy and paste it in the same spot. Oh, we got to unclick this. And I think that's just a little bit better. So it gives you the idea that there's stairs right here that line up pretty close. Yet again, you're hidden behind that. And if we really want to make this disappear, theoretically, we could change this to like a black to make it really blend in with the track behind it. But for the tutorial bit, I think we'll keep doing gray and then we'll switch it to black in the end. So, because I do think the black actually works out really well. You might get away with some of that gray in the middle. But for now, we're going to keep it gray. No. No. Oh, that's not bad. I actually like that more. You barely see it on here, and then it does fill out the stairs right there. So keep that in mind. There's going to be different coaster tracks with different heights. So like if I change this mini coaster to looping coaster, you can see it's lower, and we wouldn't necessarily want to have that gap there. So just keep that in mind. Each coaster is going to be just a little different height overall, and you're going to have to match that when you're building these coasters. Now we're going to do this perspective. So for this one, we're going to keep on with the flat section, because the flat section from this perspective is going to work out the best. So we're going to line that up. This one, it's going to go on the red tile. Oh, maybe not. We might want to do it a little bit lower. So let's see if I can put it on this tile. No, not for that one. But I'm going to guess for this one it works. Yeah. Okay, so we're going to do the same thing we've done in the past. We're going to move this one a little bit forward. And we're going to do a little bit of an up right there. And see if that works for this bottom tile. I don't think that's bad right there. I think that actually kind of works. So overall, this is going to be probably the least visible part of the section. So we're doing the tiles between the green tiles. And as of now, we're not really impacting the supports. So yet again, we're probably going to want to curve that to make it flat. So what do we do in that situation? We are going to raise this up. We're going to go down. We're going to do another down just in case that works a little better. And we are going to put that right underneath where we want it. And there you go. You got your stairs that line up. For all 4 angles, we are going to have a pathway on one side of the coaster track. So when you zoom in, you can really see it in more detail. From further away, it just kind of looks like crunch. It gives your coaster the aesthetic of having that. So I think it looks good from all 4 angles. The worst little bit right here to me is that little overlap right there. And what we'll do to make this disappear a little bit better is we're just going to change the stairs all the way to black. And I think that hides it just a little bit better. So instead of rebuilding it all in a time lapse and just showing you what you've already shown, I decided to just rebuild the track on the area that we've already supported. So just want to show it off. As you can see, we've got our coaster car going up. And, I mean, it looks pretty darn good. You've got your supports on both sides. If these peeps needed to evacuate, they're going down this stairway to this path. We could always do some sort of pathway off the edge of this. And I think it looks great. It's a great way to enhance your coasters instead of using a wooden coaster support. I just don't feel like wooden coaster supports are necessary on all coasters. I like them on certain coasters, but on one of these smaller coasters, I just don't think it's necessary overall. I really appreciate you taking the time to watch, and I hope to see you all in the next video.
Thanks for watching the Swag Shack. Swag Shack. Swag. Swag.